Next, we're going to discuss methods to select your sample. First, there's monetary unit sampling. To demonstrate monetary unit sampling, or dollar value sampling, we use an Excel spreadsheet called Sample Selector. We copy and paste our invoices with their amounts into the spreadsheet. It totals up this population and comes up with a value that then is divided by our desired sample size, which we got from the earlier size selection of 59. Dividing the population by the desired sample size gives us a sampling interval. In this case, it's $7,077.36, meaning we will select every $7,077.36 item in this listing as our sample. But if we started from the top, it would have slight bias, so I pulled a dollar bill out of my pocket, and what I did is said I've got to come up with a number that's smaller than this 7,000 for my start, or my random start. So I started from the 1 and I went over till I got to 10,660 on this dollar, and I backed up 1 and said, 1,066 is smaller than 7,000. That will be my random start. So now I subtract that random start from the sampling interval, and then I continue to subtract each invoice amount, $1,240, $583, $978, until that column hits negative. That means I've gone past this $7,000 sampling interval, and that item should be selected for testing. Then the spreadsheet will add the sampling interval back in and start the subtraction again. But you'll see there are some numbers that are larger, so we put a little dollar adjuster in here for those large items, so it figures out it needs to not only add the sampling interval, but 2 of the sampling intervals before we get to a positive number and can start subtracting our invoices again. So through this process, we now have where our X's are, the samples that we will pull those invoices and test all the attributes that we're looking for in our sample selection criteria. Another sampling method is the haphazard selection method, which items are selected without any conscious bias by the auditor. So common forms of haphazard selections are when you are told to select 3 random items from each page of a report. Assuming 10 pages, you will have your 30 selected items. The biggest issue is the auditor may become biased through this process without realizing they have become biased, and that is haphazard selections. There's block sample selections, and that's where the auditor selects a sequential block of items. For example, they may select 5 items in a row on each page over the 10 pages and select 50 total samples. The biggest issue with this method is making sure you select enough blocks to represent the population. Next is random selections. And I use a spreadsheet, and I go into Excel and I say, use this rand between function, and I say where the starting point is and the ending point is. And a lot of times I'll put the beginning invoice at the beginning of the year and the ending invoice at the end of the year. And I'll just say, give me my 30 selections through this equals rand between, and I will have a particular invoice that's selected, and that will be my random selection. So you can use Excel as a random selector also. And then there's audit software out there like ACL and IDEA. An IDEA we use in the master's class, but IDEA has the ability to say what your population is, say what your sample size is, and it will automatically go into the population and select a random sample for you, and that you can export into Excel or just work within the IDEA system on. And finally, how do you test and evaluate those selections that you've made? So you go through, and in this case we had 3 exceptions to our test. You'll see that X meant match and O meant a deviation. Now the deviation could be normally listed as the invoice price ties out, or the quantity ties out, or the unit tie. It might be all of those attributes.
But in this, we're just saying the invoice price doesn't match. So what we wound up having was a SER of 5%, and our TER, tolerable error, was 5%, so it's a little higher than that. Since the TER is lower than the SER, or the SER exceeds the TER, we can conclude that this control is not reliable. But we may actually do a couple more samples to try to reduce that SER down below the TER. First, we will do analysis of the exceptions, and then we will need to report to the Audit Management and Committee since we have deemed this as a not reliable control. So that was our discussion on methods to select your sample.